In every great story, there's always that one moment. That single instant that just shatters a character's world and changes absolutely everything. Well, today, we're going to break down the anatomy of one of those moments for a young druid named Cedric Featherstep. So, we're not going to waste any time. We're jumping right into the catalyst, the spark that lights the whole fuse. And it all kicks off with a really mysterious and honestly pretty terrifying message. Just imagine getting this. I mean, really think about it. No hello, no I love you, just three blunt commands from your father. And it's in this shaky handwriting that you don't even recognize. The mystery is immediate, and it's absolutely gripping. And that's the question, right? The one that just grabs you and refuses to let go. This is the engine that's going to drive the whole story forward. But to even start to understand the answer, we have to look at the world that this message just completely blows apart. Okay, so let's hit rewind for a second. To really get why this message is such a bombshell, we first need to understand the calm, protected little world it just shattered. For Cedric, life inside the Amber Druid Circle was, well, it was peaceful. He grew up under these huge, ancient trees in the Amber Forest, a place that was all about safety and seclusion. Everything had its own gentle rhythm, its own season. And when life is that gentle, it gets really predictable. The forest itself kind of wrapped him in a protective blanket, and everyone in the community just adored him. He never faced any real challenges, no real dangers, and because of that, he never really had to push himself. At all. Now this is where it gets super interesting when you put them side by side. You've got his father, Henrik, who was this powerhouse, a respected leader who was out there actively listening to the world and keeping things in balance. And then you have Cedric, who was basically just enjoying the results of all that hard work. He was sheltered by the very same forest his father listened to. Which brings us right back to the letter. This is the moment of impact. It's the exact point where the sheltered kid starts to transform into a man who has to act. This is the heart of the whole inciting incident. Let's just look at these details, because every single one matters. A raven arrives, a classic omen. The letter is sealed, which screams urgency and secrecy. That shaky handwriting tells you something is deeply, deeply wrong. And then no familiar sign-off, no blessing. That's the final chilling touch. And just like that, boom, his entire world flips upside down. The second he reads those words, that predictable, gentle life is just gone. Years and years of complacency get wiped out in a single heart-pounding moment. So the big question is, what rushes in to fill that void? Purpose, that's what. For the very first time in his entire life, Cedric feels a real, undeniable purpose. And it's not some gentle suggestion from the circle. It's not a path his father laid out for him. Nope, this is a fire lit from the inside, fueled by pure worry and necessity. And what's amazing is how quickly that new purpose snaps into focus. It's not vague at all. It immediately becomes this crystal clear set of goals. All that confusion and fear gets channeled into an actionable plan. His life is no longer predictable, but for the first time, his mission is perfectly clear. Okay, so here's the final piece of the puzzle, the reaction. The letter was the call to adventure, and now we get to see how Cedric answers it. This, right here, is the true beginning of his story. And just look how fast this all happens. There's no waffling, no hesitation. The kid who never had to make a real decision for himself immediately packs a bag and walks away from the only home he's ever known. That quick, decisive action just shows you how deep that internal transformation really was. And we have to remember, this isn't some happy-go-lucky adventure. He is walking away from total safety and into a world that's been defined by his father's terrifying warning. The physical journey he's on perfectly mirrors his internal one. He's moving from the light of everything he knows into the deep shadows of the unknown. And this is where we have to leave him. The inciting incident has done its job. A simple life is shattered, a new purpose has been forged, and a terrifying journey has begun. And that one central question, born from his father's final command, now hangs over every single thing. Who can he possibly trust if the answer is no one else?